All right. Okay, so the case this week is about 6 friends going canoeing in Canada in May. And they go through some rapids, wreck their canoes. They have limited supplies left, and it is 60 miles to the nearest town. One of the guy's legs is broken. So then we have the list of stuff that we think is important and what we should bring with us, and we need to talk about that. Anything else? Did I cover everything?
Yeah, I think so.
Yep. Okay. So we'll go over. Do you guys want? We should just. So we'll just start at the top of the list, or actually, let's not start at the top of the list. Let's try to come to a consensus on what we think the most important thing that we should have is. So everybody, you guys all have your lists open?
Yep.
Yep. Great. Again, they're in Canada in May, which might have been a little poor planning on their part because it's Canada in May. For those of us who haven't been to Canada in May, I have. It snows in Canada in May. So, what would you guys feel the most important thing they should bring as number one thing?
I put compass as number one.
Compass.
Yeah.
Yeah. I put matches down for mine.
Yeah, I put the map down for mine.
Yeah, I put water purification tablets.
I put that too.
Sorry.
What was that you put down there, Zach?
I put the tablets.
Oh, okay.
I think Frisbee should be definitely number one.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that. That's Frisbee is life.
I mean, I'm sure we all have reasons why we put it in certain orders.
Yeah.
So why did you put Frisbee as number one?
Oh, I was just kidding.
Oh, okay.
I put the compass. I just thought, I don't know. I mean, I was a Boy Scout growing up, so we always were taught to bring a compass with us. That's why I put it. Yeah.
And the map I thought would be useful, so you know. I mean, I didn't put compass as one just because you can kind of see the sun and figure out where you're going to a certain extent. Right, and water purification was like number 2 for me. So I can 1, 2.
I put down matches as number one for mine because I figured, since it was getting so cold and all, or if it would get very cold and this guy has a broken leg, I guess they have to, they have, hypothermia to kind of worry about with their friend. So like that was kind of my reasoning. And then, I mean, really for the whole thing, I was kind of thinking about, I don't know if you guys have ever seen, and you probably haven't. My wife is a really big fan of Naked and Afraid. But I kind of like thought about Naked and Afraid and kind of how they survive. And I thought like, people, how long these people can survive without food and all this kind of stuff. So I was kind of like, one of their big things was like, making sure that you have some kind of way to stay warm or have some kind of shelter. But so the warmth kind of, that's why I chose mine.
Yeah. This top, 4 or 5 were hard to pick between them because they're all very important, the first few. So I mean, I have matches. So as a group, because I have matches within the top 5, most of the stuff I have is you can put in your pocket. But as a group, what are we thinking number one should be?
Yeah, I bet our top 5s are all pretty much the same, just in different orders, be my guess.
All right, well, let's just throw out the top 5 then.
Yeah, I'm cool with putting matches first. It's cool. I'm cool with that.
Sounds
Yeah.
I agree. Just because it's cold and you have to be warm or you die.
Yes. Again, it snows in Canada in May. And I live in South Florida, so that's kind of a big thing for me. No, no snow. All right. Number two. Number two, I had sleeping bags.
I had the water for purification tablets.
Well, I had.
Yeah. So so they were swimming over by the Great Lakes. So I kept on thinking back to myself, like, if the water is not any good for them to drink, then they're basic, they can really hurt themselves, kind of thing. But if the water is okay to drink, then this is probably not important at all. Maybe it has, some stuff in it, but not enough that it would affect them. So I had to put it as 2 because I didn't know how safe the water was to drink over there.
Yeah, because you can go without food, but you need water.
Yeah, you can survive, what is it, like up to a week, or maybe 10 days without food. I mean, you'd be super weak by the end of it. But if you don't have water, I think it's like, 4 days or so?
Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least 3 days without water.
So do you guys want to put the purification tablets as 2?
Yep.
Good.
I'm down for that.
Well, I put map as 3.
I did as well.
I put the sleeping bags down just because. What does it say? Just because if they're dry, they're another way to keep warm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I put sleeping bags.
And I'm just thinking, you got these sleeping bags. Most of this stuff is small. You can't put it all in the sleeping bag and just put them in.
Yeah.
I think the guy with the broken legs kind of like the X factor because he's not really going to be walking very much, so it's going to get a lot colder. Then
he's going to need the sleeping bag, right?
Yeah. That's what I thought for number 3, but
I'd be down to put it as number 3, the sleeping bags.
3 is good. Again, I think we've all kind of agreed we need the map at some point here.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll put that as 4.
Yep.
Yeah.
Map is 4.
I put matches as 4.
You put matches. Well, we've already done matches, so we have the matches. That's important. 5.
I put clothes as 5.
I put the personal flotation devices as my 5.
I need to know why about the personal flotation devices.
So I was kind of going for like, I don't know, when I've ever worn a personal flotation device, it's always kind of kept me warm a little bit. And I thought, if these guys are going to try and go back down the river by any means with their, canoes, if they try and repair them by any means, or anything like that, I mean, I feel like they do need them if they try and do that. But I do go for the flotation devices being, kind of a way of keeping warm as well. But I think clothes do a better job. So I kind of forgot about that there. So I'd be down to put clothes actually instead.
Yeah, and I have when you canoe, what kind of personal flotation device? Because like when we sail, we just have those big orange cumbersome ones that are just tucked away somewhere because you don't actually wear it when you're actually sailing. But you wear a totally different one when you're water skiing, right? So
yeah, I was thinking more of like it's not really the big orange bulky ones. I was thinking more of like the jacket ones that you can wear when you water ski. So I was thinking more of like a, it's not a military jacket, but it's kind of like that.
Okay.
So, but I'm down to put clothes first.
So for my number, what is this, 5?
5, yeah.
So for my number 5, I put the parachute cord, just because with parachute cord and the sleeping bags, you could make like the cot, but
Right. Oh, yeah.
thing they'd be able to carry the guy that broke his leg, then you guys would be able to be at least hike out of there.
Yeah.
Take turns carrying him and be able to get out of there and start making your way back. So I figured parachute cord could come in handy for that and to possibly be able to make a splint for his legs. So
Yeah.
Parachute cord was my
about
number 4. So
So are we going with clothes or paracord?
I think my issue with the clothes is that they're wet and it's super
Yeah.
cold. I think you're gonna get hypothermia.
Yeah.
That was my only issue with the clothes was that.
And I did forget that. They said, and it's starting to drizzle. So, and that's what I kept thinking. They're wet and it's raining. So,
I mean, if they leave them out to dry, the next day, what's the weather pattern? It was like, it's like a, I can't remember what they were saying. It's like, it's sunny and then windy
it's
and then
unpredictable.
it's unpredictable.
Yeah.
The chances of them getting sun and wind the next day, maybe, I don't know. Maybe that can dry out their clothes so they can actually be viable. But
Yeah.
I'd be down with putting the parachute cord down as number 5.
Okay. There's 5. I was interested to note that there's not a knife on this list.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Yeah. All right, so we're on number 6.
So my number 6, I put a compass is what I put, but as my number 2, I put the fanny pack of food. And the reason why I put that is because I don't watch Naked and Afraid, but my wife and I used to watch one called Alone. And I don't know if you guys have heard about that one. They just drop people off in British Columbia and they're by themselves. It's one person by themselves. They drop like 8 people off in different places where they can't find each other, can't talk to each other. And one of the items that each person brought was a small pack of food, only because it gave them some calories to be able to, 1, stay warm, and 2, be able to move and continue to hike or to find more food. And so, I don't know, I thought the fanny pack of food was important just because what if it's May, if it's snowing, there's probably not a lot of greens or berries to be able to eat. So you're going to be stuck with fish. But if you can't find fish, then you're going to have absolutely no food and no energy to be able to hike out of there.
Yeah, I had 6 as my compass, but also I had fanny pack of food for my number 2 as well. Same thing.
Yeah, me too. I had number 2 as fanny pack.
So do we want to go with food or a compass?
I'm good with food.
I'd say food is more important than a compass.
Yeah, I think
just
so.
because you're right next to the river, and even if you don't have a compass, you can at least, with your map that we chose, you can at least position the map along with the river to find your way out of there.
Smart. I totally forgot about that you could just follow the river out.
Yeah.
That was smart. Good thinking. All right, 6, 7. 7, I had the parent cord, so we already got that one.
What about the flotation device? Is number 7?
Because again.
Yeah, I was thinking. So, I had duct tape for my number 7, and I was thinking, like, is there any? I don't know how. I know a lot of people value duct tape really highly, but I was wondering, could duct tape at all be used to salvage their canoes? I mean, I wouldn't trust it, but at this point, they're kind of in a lose-lose situation. That's kind of all they have to do it. And then I was also thinking that the duct tape, if they could have the duct tape and the fishing poles, maybe they can fix the fishing poles with that as well. And this way they can have. That's why I actually put the fanny pack as number 10, because I actually put I thought maybe they could use the fishing poles with the duct tape there and maybe catch fish.
Yeah. Or duct tape them to that broken guy's leg.
Yeah, so I put duct tape up there as well. So just kind of keep that relevant.
Yeah.
I had duct tape as number 8 just because I know that duct tape, if you use it, it does not allow water to leak in. Like, I watched this thing where they duct taped a screen door and put it at the bottom of a boat and rowed across the lake with that screen door on the bottom of the boat, and it didn't sink and no water got into the boat. So I know that duct tape can make it work. It just depends on,
If you know how to
they
use
said the
it right.
canoes were bent really bad. So I mean,
Yeah.
I guess you'd have to unbend the canoes and really try to patch it up really well. You'd have to be pretty intelligent and to use that 30-foot roll of duct tape well on a couple canoes.
No, I think you could probably use the canoes as sleds to carry your stuff, but I don't know if they're going to float anymore.
Yeah, they already had to carry the sludge too. That in the video when he was talking earlier, they already had to carry. So they had to have been somewhat able to. That means that canoes are not so heavy that they can't, carry them. I've been in like metal canoes before where it's not easy to carry them around. So if they're light enough to use them as sleds, I guess that's also viable.
Yeah, but I don't think that's an option on Quinterlist. But the duct tape is important. All right. So, what was our other option that we were just discussing before the duct tape? The duct tape and the fishing poles, right?
Yeah, I had fishing poles of 6. I don't know. So 7.
6 and 7. So we're on 7 and 8. Do you guys want to put duct tape and fishing poles?
Yeah, I'm cool with duct tape as 7 and then fishing poles as 8. Is that kind of what we're thinking?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good with that. I think that's a good idea.
Let's see, what do we have left? We have the flotation devices, the wet clothes, the yellow frisbee, the whiskey, the insect repellent, and the compass left. We're on number 9.
Kind of random, but I put whiskey for number 9. And I know we're Mormon, we don't drink or whatever, but I think whiskey too for infections and stuff like that. If you're like hiking and climbing through stuff, there's a chance of getting scrapes and stuff. So it's a good way to clean up.
Well, and that's what I was thinking too, because they said they all got kind of cut up from falling out of the boat. And
then also too, I hear whiskey keeps you warm at night. So
it does not actually. It just makes you care less about the cold. It doesn't.
Maybe they're not, intelligent at all. They're just, a bunch of 18-year-old guys, and maybe, if it's their time,
Yeah, right.
You
got one pint. That's all you get, man.
I figured whiskey would just help take the pain away from the broken leg.
Yeah. There you go too.
Yeah, that's true.
But it does not actually help with warmth in any ways. That is a fallacy.
Yeah, so that's what I put for number 9. I think the flotation devices are important too, though.
All right. Anybody else have anything to chime in about 9? We're going for flotation devices before whiskey.
I also think the clothes should be up there before the whiskey. I think the clothes, the flotation devices, and then the last 3.
I had clothes for number 9 just because. I mean, I guess if you have matches and they're dry and you start a big enough fire, you can at least try to dry them out. But
remember, they're 18-year-old guys. They'll just light them on fire. I'm just kidding. All right. Clothes.
Yeah, I'd say clothes or flotation device.
And then flotation devices 10?
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sure, I had fishing poles as number 10 just because I figured you could at least use the line to try to catch some fish or to use the line for something else too.
Yeah, I had a few questions on some of these because of stuff like that. Like it mentions that the matches are dry, and then it says duct tape. But did the duct tape is that still dry or is that wet? Because once it's wet, it's kind of useless. So I just had questions.
So once again, I'm sorry. For 9 and 10, was that 6? The flotation devices for 9, and then
we had the clothes for 9, and then the flotation devices for 10.
Hey, let me switch those around.
Perfect. All right. So we have compass,
11.
insect, and whiskey, and the frisbee.
It's whiskey number 1.
11. Whiskey's 11.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Then you got insect repellent. I mean, maybe you can make more fire with it if you get a match and light it.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Put that as 12.
That's 12. And the whiskey, you can actually light that on fire.
Oh yeah, it's true. Yeah. Okay. It's 13 and frisbee 14.
Compass 13. Awesome. Frisbee 14. So really have a
I haven't
question
the
why.
pots and pans though. That's my big
Yeah.
question. Like, did they not what were
Yeah,
they using to heat stuff up? I mean, that could have gotten lost at the
Yeah, you got
wreckage.
washed
But
down the river.
yeah, you wouldn't need the water purification tablets if you had a simple, pan or even like a metal canteen that you can heat the water up in.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Well,
guess
no.
if it's raining or snowing every day, you can use the frisbee to catch rainwater and drink it that
Yeah.
way.
That was actually
true.
what I was thinking with the frisbee. And
So maybe you don't need the water purification tablets at all.
well,
Maybe you just need the
only question
whiskey bottle and dump out the whiskey and use the frisbee to catch rain and fill up the whiskey bottle.
well, there you go. Because that was the question I had about the water purification tablets. What are we putting the water in to purify it?
Drinking the whiskey real fast, and then that's where the water goes.
There you go.
Okay. Everybody wash your cuts. Right. All right. Now let's go through what the experts said.
Okay, can you go down the list really quick again?
Yes.
Straight down
Yes,
the list and the numbers.
All right, numbers starting at the top. We had 6, 4, 10, 8, 9, 14, 2, 7, 11, 12, 1, 5, 13, 3. Did you want me to read them with the items or just the numbers is good?
No, that was good.
Fabulous. Okay. Do you guys want to take them in turn? We'll just start and each read what the expert said. Actually,
yeah, I can pop that open if you'd like.
Yeah, because there's 14 of them. Okay. The correct answers are based on opinions of 2 experts, both of whom act as guides on canoe trips. The experts agree the best course of action for the group was to repair one of the canoes and send 2 of the most experienced and least injured people to paddle to a road and go to Grand Marseille for help because the search party would not even leave for 5 days to look for the group. This would cause severe hardship for the group, particularly the one with a broken leg. Food is way down, and there is minimal protection from the rain and cold. That is, it is estimated that the group of 2 would move faster than if everybody went along, and they would get help within 1 day. Then a helicopter could be sent to the campsite. There you go. First priority for the group then is to go for help. However, in order to do this and survive, it would be important to get warm and try to keep dry. Dry out the wet clothes and the sleeping bags. However, since it has started to drizzle and may rain, there is no assurance things would get dry soon. In that case, the party of 2 needs to leave quickly in their wet clothes and take their wet sleeping bags with them. Now, it didn't say in the list that the sleeping bags were wet. There is almost no food left, most of it having been lost in the rapids. About half should go to the 2 paddling, who will have less time to gather food, but will presumably get to a food source sooner. The experts said as long as they have water, they could go for 3 days without food and still function adequately. On the 3rd day, they would get shaky. Those left behind can try to catch some fish to eat. All right. Do you guys have the thing open? We can, or do you
What's
just want me to read them?
Yeah, I have it up.
Okay. So
What's
the
the
expert.
number?
It's if you go to the lesson, the case study instructions, and there is a link to click on there. It'll pop it open. Nope, it's not the case study instructions. Where is it? This one might be on there. I think it's under the case study conclusion. Dave, do you know where it is? I'm looking.
Sorry, it should be under the case study activity. Yeah, the case study activity. And once you get to there, go to this week's group leader. Where you see that, this week's group leader, it's the first link that shows up there.
Yeah.
So you should be going to.
Oh, yeah. Yep,
Yeah.
case study.
Yeah.
Wilderness survival activity.
Yeah, it says discussion agenda.
Case study activity. And then go to the one where it says L10 colon group discussion agenda.
Yeah, cool.
Well, thank you.
All right,
All
I can start off if you'd like.
Yes.
All right. Number 1, duct tape. This is the most essential thing because it is the only way to repair the canoe. Okay, so it is. So that it can be used. Okay, it can be used to patch up the 10 teach and to fix the broken gunwales. Other uses for tape, which experts say is essential on any such trip, is to repair fishing poles, to use with large sticks, to set a temporary split for a broken bone. Lastly, it can be used to fashion a makeshift pan to boil water. However, caution must be used to keep the tape far enough away from the flame, and not to get the water so hot that the adhesive will melt. Huh.
That is interesting. All right, so as we read through it, you guys need to fill out column D.
Yep.
The experts. So number 2 is the personal flotation device. These are useful mostly because they will keep the body warm. They can be worn as, I think that's supposed to say vests. There's typos. Keep the torso warm or to use as sit pages or pillows on wet or cold ground. Right now, the clothes are all wet. Even when personal flotation devices are wet, they still provide warmth. Yeah.
I can read them.
Keep you that wrong.
Go ahead.
So number 3 is map of the area. It's essential for 2 people striking out to get help. Wow, I don't know who typed this up, but
I know.
it'd be almost impossible to navigate out of lakes and to a road without the map. The plastic coating, I guess, also makes the map useful as a makeshift umbrella.
Does anybody else have it open?
I can do 4.
Cool.
Sleeping bags is number 4. Important to keep warm, both for paddlers as well as those staying behind. Even though the bags are wet, they still provide some warmth since they are synthetic. It is important to dry them out as soon as possible, though. The bags can be used day or night for warmth.
Number 5 is matches. To start a fire as soon as a drizzle or rain stops and begin drying out the clothes. The extras set can be dried out and put on at the same time. That some people strip down and get into the sleeping bags while their clothes dry. Fires can be started from the plentiful wood pieces in the area. Birch bark is used as fire starter. The first is important for cooking purposes, also as well as providing warmth for the group. If the weather had not started to drizzle and looked like it was going to rain soon, then the matches would have been number 3. in order to get clothes and sleeping bags dry, especially for those leaving.
Number 6, food. Though there isn't much, it will still be very helpful. It must be divided and rationed so that it doesn't run out quickly. For those staying behind, it is hoped that within a day fish can be caught. However, in the meantime, the food that remains should somehow be protected from bears.
Number 7, when it stops raining, the extra clothes, need to be dried out, and 3 remaining people can wear them. This greatly helps chances of survival. Keeping dry increases warmth. Dry clothes are even more important than securing additional food to eat.
Number 8, fishing poles. Once the duct tape is used, the poles should be fit for fishing in the lake where northern walleye and lake trout, an average of 2 to 5 pounds, can be caught and cooked over the fire. A stick may be used as a spit to roast the fish, or the makeshift pan from duct tape can boil the fish.
Number 9, parachute cord. This has many uses as a line to dry clothes through though bushes can be used to secure the food in a tree away from bears. If the duct tape runs out, the cord can be used for splinting the leg and for repairing the gunwales on the canoe. In order to do this, poke the holes near either side of the top using the jackknife that we didn't include in the list for some reason. Pull the cord through the holes and tie it securely.
Insect repellent for protection from mosquitoes and black flies, which are both persistent and thick, as well as wood ticks and deer ticks, which often spread Lyme disease.
Number 11, water purification tablets. Mildly important because the water in these areas is often not something. However, the disease to worry about most is a protozoa in the water. It takes 2 weeks to affect in the body. By that time, everybody should be home. Water can be also boiled.
Number 12, yellow frisbee, though it is brought for recreation and actually has some survival value. One use is to heat water in it, being careful that the heat does not melt the plastic. Fish can be boiled in it, as well as hard candies in water. Where did the candies come from? Provide a warm liquid for the group. The frisbee can be used to fan the fire through blowing to be on it to work, and it can be used for recreation to ease tension.
Okay, number 13 is the magnetic compass. This is not as important as the other items because the paddlers are well equipped to navigate the lakes with the map.
Whiskey. So many think this is useful for energy or to keep warm, but actually it has the opposite effect, and it should be only used as a last resort for pain, broken bone, because alcohol causes dehydration and hypothermia, getting colder. After drinking alcohol, the blood capillaries expand initially. The driver feels warm, however, heat is actually being lost, and later there's a sudden feeling of being very, very cold.
There's dogs and snow were not helping. All right, so now we have to figure out our group ranking and your individual ranking.
So I got the group score is 42.
Yep, I got the same.
Good job.
Does anyone need me to read down the list for?
Add the ones you got right. Is that right?
You're supposed to subtract. So
you're supposed to add together for the total scores.
Yeah, so you write down the difference between the group ranking and your ranking in A. Or no, between your ranking and the expert ranking in A. And then in E, you put the difference between the group ranking and the expert ranking.
Yeah.
In E. And in F is your ranking and the group ranking. Difference.
Okay.
No negatives, all positives, just the difference between the numbers.
42. Is that what you said? There you go.
42 is what Zach and I got.
Okay.
That's what I got.
And
I'm all finished over here.
yeah.
Yeah, I've got mine too.
I got mine.
I'm good.
Great. Okay. So we got that. So what were your individual scores?
I got 58.
High five, so did I.
I got a 53.
I got 60.
Oops. One more person I didn't see who spoke.
Oh, that was me. I got
So-
60.
Yeah, I got 258s, a 53, and a 60. So who was the last person?
And I got a 50.
Oh, you got a 50? So you were the closest to Ryan.
Okay.
And what were your persuasion scores?
I got 40,
You got 40?
46.
46.
Sorry, I'm doing mine.
I got 34 for my persuasion score.
Oh, good job. You're a persuasive person.
If you talk a lot, I guess.
Yeah.
What doesn't mean I'm right.
So I got 24.
Oh, wow. That's good.
You guys all followed me, and I had like my individual score of 60. So I'm sorry. I killed our group.
Well, I think when we go through and read the next step, we kind of got a little more information on what we should have done because, you know, you guys, Dave did say we should fix the canoes, but
Yeah, but I wasn't just I didn't even rank it very highly because I didn't know if we could or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't because they said they were bent. So I was figuring that these things were. I mean, either I don't know. And then I don't value duct tape as like being able to fix these huge gashes in the boat. So
yeah. I got, let's see, I got a 40.
I got a 32.
Everybody did better than me. Right. So we did, let's see. I don't really understand this. It says, ask the members their persuasion scores. Decide if your group had a process game.
So what you'll do is take all the individual scores, add them together, and divide it by 5. That'll tell you what the average, or no, yeah, that'll tell you what the average. Right? Let me go read it again. I
Where
read it
did
just a
you
little
read
while
that?
ago. Just a
Okay.
second. Let me get in here again.
That sounds right.
Yeah, average all individual scores for the group. So add them all up and divide them by 5, just the individual scores. So that'll give you the average member score. And then the group score, which is 42, you're going to write down as well. And then the best member score, which is who scored the lowest, which I think that was can't remember.
Blake or Jordan with 50, I think.
Whoever had the lowest group one. It was like
Yeah.
56. Whoever had 56
No, somebody had 50, yeah.
or
I had
50.
on that one.
Yeah.
So I had 50 on that one, and I had the highest. I had the worst on the persuasion.
Okay, so yeah. So then you put down whoever had the best individual score, and then member's persuasion score, the persuasion score for the member with the best. So the lowest number would go there. And then a
Okay.
process gain would say, was the group score lower than the average member score or higher? So once you
No.
average those 5, is it higher or lower than the group score?
Well, and then the group score. So the group score, the second
The
score that we
42.
got,
Yeah.
42. Yeah. All right. So that's 45.8 is the individuals.
What did you get as the average member score? The 5 of our individual
45.8.
scores divided by 5?
It's 45.8.
45.8.
Yeah.
So this would say that yes, we do have process gain because our group score is less than the average of our individual scores, which basically states that we work better as a group than alone in this group setting. Which says that if they came and asked each one of us for our numbers and we gave it to them, there's a better chance that the group would have survived if we got together as a group and talked it over instead of submitting our individual answers and them going off of that.
Do you need any of our individual scores or anything else there? I mean, well, you have everything together. Do you need anything else from us?
What was your persuasion scores again?
So I think don't you only need the persuasion score for the top scoring person? So that was Jordan, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's right.
So I got
No,
I got
Zach.
24 as the persuasion score.
Wasn't it? Yeah, Zach, you did. Do we each need to turn in these things? Because it said something.
No, so
if
you'll
I
go in.
send you an email asking you a question.
So if you go in to the case study activity, this week's group leader where you got the link for the agenda,
Yeah.
On number 5, it tells you all the 7
I
things you
see
have to
what you're
post.
looking at. Yeah.
And so just go into the discussion group and post those 5 things or those 7 things.
Okay.
The way it asks, and that's all you have to do.
Okay, the first ones we have to do anyways. Average member score, group score, best member score, which was 24. And persuasion score, and did you have gain? Yes. Okay, perfect. I got all that.
So the best member score would have been Jordan's 50.
Jordan's was the best member. Not, oh, I thought it was the persuasion score. Sorry. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Right. That was an interesting case study this week.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that's all. And thank you all for coming, and thanks for being flexible with your schedule.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
No worries at all. You guys have a good one.
You
You
too.
too.
Bye.
Yeah, see you.
Okay.